Rockdown, Rockdown, down memory lane. Rockdown, Rockdown, see those guys again.
Rockdown.
Hi, welcome. My name's Wendy Stapleton. Rockdown is a Melbourne show filmed here in this great little studio at Channel 31. We've had a fantastic response, which is shown in our Melbourne ratings. Thanks to everyone who watches, and we hope to continue to entertain you. But we also get emails from all around Australia, and we'll try and get out to the other cities as soon as possible. Our next artist heard about Rockdown and has made the special effort to come down from Sydney tonight to be with us. He was originally from Sebastian Hardie, a band which started off doing blues and then turned to progressive rock. And the band was a very large part of the Melbourne scene in the 70s. They supported Yes on their 2003 Australian tour, and today I have with me the keyboard player Toivo Pilt, who has a brand new band called Tram Tracks. Welcome, Toivo.
Oh, pleasure to be in Melbourne.
Hey,
Pleasure.
listen, thank you so much also for coming down from Sydney.
Not a problem.
As I said, we are doing our best to get this show.
That's why I'm
all over
here,
Australia.
because I thought, what a great idea. We've got nothing like this in Sydney.
It's been a long time since we've seen you in Melbourne on a regular basis, but I do
Yeah, too
remember
long.
in the 70s
That's a long time
seeing
ago.
a lot of Sebastian Hardie. As a matter of fact, you probably spent more time down here than you did in Sydney.
Oh, absolutely. Well, primarily because Melbourne was very much a university city and Sebastian Hardie was a concert band.
Yes.
And we could pull, crowds from 500 plus wherever we played. Monash, Latrobe. And even when we presented our second album, Windchase, we managed to pack 2,500 into Dallas Brooks. And that was, I believe, was a record.
Yeah. As you said, it was a concert band. We're not talking pop music here.
No,
You were very, very accomplished musicians. Now, I know that you all went to, was it the same high school or?
Well, I'll sort of start
Start from the start.
Yeah, Sebastian Hardie, I think, was called the Sebastian Hardie Blues Band, sort of from '67 onwards. It had a revolving door of musicians coming in up to in that period. One was also John English was the lead singer at one point, and most of them all came from Cabramatta High School, which is an outer suburb of Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, probably by about 1973. The lineup changed again with the two brothers, Peter and Alex, and then Mario Miller had joined. And then about a year later, that's 1974, I was approached to join, which was a little difficult getting me into the band.
Why?
Well, I was pretty much into my own band forever. We just finished not winning, but we came second in the 2SM Pepsi Pop Poll in Sydney. And myself and the guitarist had won scholarships into the Conservatorium of Music.
Yeah.
So I was focused in that area, but I kept on getting approached by members of Sebastian Hardie, where it got to one point there where I was performing at Checkers nightclub, which was one of the main venues, probably about 1974, I would imagine, or early 74, where one of the members of Sebastian Hardie had an altercation with our manager in Forever. It was sort of over. The fact was that I was going to join Sebastian Hardie, or I wasn't going to join Sebastian Hardie. But when I found him lying on the floor there, I thought, well, it's probably a good idea that I do join Sebastian Hardie, because I didn't want to join him down there.
You left Checkers in the Sebastian Hardie band.
Yes.
And was that in the early 70s?
Yes, that would have been about 1974, because it was just a year prior to the recording of the Four Moments album. That wasn't easy for me because Sebastian Hardie had pretty much changed musical direction into that sort of symphonic progressive rock.
Were your family like musically inclined?
Yes.
Because
In
obviously,
fact,
if you studied classical.
Yeah, look, from my family, from the ethnic background, 4 years old, if you could reach a piano, you started playing piano before you even learned to speak English.
That's right.
In fact, when I went to school, I could not even speak English. I had no command of the English language whatsoever. I was sent to Estonian school, which was in the local area there. There were a lot of Estonians in the Picton area. And that's what we learnt. We learnt music, all the culture, folklore. And then when it come sort of time to move into to Picton Primary School there, well, when the teacher asked me, you know, what's your name? I only knew 2 words, good and thank you.
Was it tough?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you thought you got beaten up, you really got beaten up.
But I mean, not speaking English as well.
Fortunately, some bigger Estonians arrived into the school there as well. Who we took care of some of the Aussies. If we got beaten up there, we made sure we gave them a hiding a bit later.
Okay. So by the time you were a teenager, obviously apart from studying the piano and, as you said, you were going off to the conservatorium.
Well, the course that I was working with 2 private teachers in the area there, and the course was a conservatorium and music course. You know, you just did. There was just one set of studies you did.
And we're going to take a short break and be back soon. Thank you.
Rockdown.
Welcome back to Rockdown. My very special guest this evening has come all the way down from Sydney to see us. It's the keyboard player from Sebastian Hardie, Toivo. We were talking about...
Oh, the 4 Moments album.
The 4 Moments.
In the recording studio, that's the main control room there, you had these 2 Englishmen, you know, John English. He's sort of a... Oh, you know...
Pirate.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of a pirate.
Oh, always mistaken kidney. And the other one was a complete Londoner, Richard, you know. Oh, cup of tea, love, so 1 lump or 2. Quite elegant, you know. But a really, really good engineer. So, on the other side is us, which is, you work this out. The rhythm section, Peter and Alex Plasvik. 1 Serbian, that's Peter, and 1 Croat. Now, they're brothers. So the Balkans War continued from that day onwards. Don't ask me, ask Mr. and Mrs. Plasvik if you have to, but they were, one was one and the other one was... When you have 2 Englishmen in the control room, it didn't take very long for the pranks to start to arrive. I was the new kid on the block, the real green guy. So it was my turn to cop the big one. This particular day we've sort of had our lunch break, left the studio. I had to come back, I think, to stabilise one of my mini moogs there because I was doing overdubs there. I walk into the control room there, and there on the multi-track there is the tape. It's just all completely just mangled. I didn't touch anything. I just kept looking at it because the last thing I remember, that was 4 Moments when we left. A few minutes later, everyone walks in the studio going, oh, freaking out, what have you done? What have you done to the tape? And I think, I haven't touched it, I haven't touched it. And that kept on, they were at me, you idiot. I copped it for about, serving for about 5 minutes. I just had no idea what was going on. Then I think one of them suggested, oh look, we're going to have to re-record 4 Moments again. That's 20 minutes of music. 20 minutes from start to finish. Look, Toivo, it's probably a good idea. We know this keyboard player down the road there. Look, he only has to hear it once and you'll do the whole album in 1 take. He'll probably have it down in 20 minutes. I'm looking, I think, what? This keyboard player, what I've been playing here for 3 or 4 days, doing all this stuff, the overdubs and everything. He's just going to walk in the studio and just listen to it once and put it down? Yeah, right. So that prank sort of rubbed itself off.
It sounds like you must have taken it very seriously because John's obviously thought, come in spinner with all you guys. You know, I know how wicked he is.
Yeah, but we sabotaged his steak and kidney pie, don't you worry.
Did you?
We put some things in there. Oh, what's wrong with this?
So how did the album go?
This was interesting. We finished the album. Polydor Records was really liked it. They just didn't think it, to be, sell. Rosanna was picked as the instrumental off the album. They thought, oh, well, it might do all right. Well, it charted. Went. Then the Focus tour came along. So we had a chance to, play 5,000 people at the Horden, Melbourne.
So Focus were from...
they were a Dutch band. Better
band,
known as they had that yodeling keyboard player that sort of with a song called Hocus Pocus. Very similar sort of band in lineup to what we were.
Right.
Anyway, we did the Sydney concert with them and we were good. In fact, we were so good we got kicked off that particular night.
Well, that'll teach you.
Focus's management sort of were a little bit jittery about having us on there, but we worked it out there. They thought, well, what a good idea. So we did the rest of the tour there.
Was it a national tour?
Yes, we Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide. We didn't do Perth. I don't think they went to Perth. But I
It
know
was
we
a long way
But
to
when
go,
we
yeah.
came back off the Focus tour, there was the gold albums. 4 Moments had gone gold in such a short period
Really?
of time. Yeah, oh yeah. And, you know, the success of it was really successful here, and it started bit by bit getting recognised overseas in Japan, of all places, and America. So Polydor Records pressured us into doing another album really quickly, far too soon. It was the Windchase album.
In hindsight, do you feel that you were underprepared musically, or...?
No, I think we would have liked to have spent more time on the Windchase album because the title track worked out fantastic. We leave the studio and the Santana tour comes along, and that's on CBS Records, which is uncommon for like a Polydor Records band to be doing a CBS support, but we got it. We start to showcase the Windchase album, and the odd thing about Santana is that before the first show there, all their players were the conga players setting up, playing with us, the drummers setting up there, their singers behind us, you know, like everyone's sort of joining in the band. And we ended up actually doing the encore with Santana, with our band. And I remember the third show in Sydney there, when you look across the stage there's Sebastian Hardie with Santana, and there's Neil Diamond playing tambourine there. I'm not joking, he was out here with Hot August Night. That was that particular year and that particular time there. I mean,
Was that when they came out for, there was a...
I think that was the
festival, there was a festival out at not Sunbury Festival. We'll take a short break and we'll be back to talk about this in a minute. See you soon.
Rockdown.
Welcome back. A lot of our guests have had trouble getting radio airplay with their new material. So we've hooked up with a community radio 3NRG in the Sunbury area. Now there's a show on Wednesday nights from 6 till 8 called Chrome Plated Yabby, of course. So if you live out that way, switch over to 3NRG. It's 99.3 FM and you'll get to hear some great new music. Now back to Toivo.
Yes.
Let's talk some more about... well, let's go past Sebastian Hardie, because in actual fact you had these 2 wonderful albums out in the last few years. I realised you toured.
The Yes Tour, which we did Sydney and Melbourne. But we had a few complications here in Melbourne.
Which were?
Well, we sort of went a little overtime because they were late. And before we finished our last song openings, one of the roadies started pulling the power plugs, so we were just zapped. Ouch. Pop, pop, pop. And of course the Melbourne crowd.
Do?
We were just stunned.
What did the crowd do?
Went ape.
Booing?
Booing, hissing. The controversy went on, and the emails that came through were just like scathing. And these were a Yes crowd. They came to see Yes. We were only sort of like, you know, the support band. It was quite funny.
So obviously the boys in the band in Yes, once they had heard about
Well,
it, because they wouldn't have known this was going on.
No, they didn't, because...
And they wouldn't have condoned
No, they had nothing to do with
Yeah.
it. So by the time we got to Sydney, we sort of sorted things out there. The promoters that bought Yes out there were kind to us. They bought us a huge clock. So we had it sitting there on stage there. So if we went past this time there, you know, that was it.
Okay, now you tell us about Tram Tracks.
That I am looking forward to. We all get together for a jam. All that material there started as a jam there, and then it started developing into songs there. All because we're actually thinking, you know, we're focusing.
And the material, did you and
Well, a lot of them.
everybody?
The 3 of us, primarily myself, Mark. That's how the word tram came together, because it was Toivo, Robert, Athel, who was doing the engineering, and Mark. So we're going to call ourselves originally Tram, but Googling, we found that there was a band in England called Tram. They hadn't released anything, but we weren't going to get into any legal matters, so we put the tracks at the end of it. That's how the name came together there. And then we just started recording music, not really thinking about, you know, a CD, just doing what we wanted
Because
to.
you wanted to do
Just
it.
wanted we
you
do,
just
and we
needed to
could do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The website,
Yes.
which is
Well, just tramtracks.com.
.com.
That's all you need. You're in.
Fantastic.
And then from there on there, the big picture comes up. Start clicking there. That'll take you to MySpace there. and soon we'll have the clips posted on YouTube. You know what you normally do, but all the information is all relevant
already
there.
there. Or you can also go to our website, which is www.rockdown.com, and as we said earlier on, which is fantastic, 3NRG 99.3 FM are going to play our new artists, which we're absolutely thrilled about because, as we said, you know. Radio stations are very happy to play your hits from the 60s and 70s ad nauseum, which is fabulous, but they won't always give your new material a go, and it's wonderful that 3NRG and other stations, hopefully, are going to start playing the new material that our wonderful artists are recording.
It's funny that, because I'll make one sort of analogy. How many times do I need to hear Eagle Rock? You know, it's like it is just like on rotation there, and why? You know,
well,
those guys, they must be doing new material.
But the thing is, I'm sure Ross, of course, he's got new material.
But
I'm
do
sure
we hear the
he would
new
prefer
material?
to be having his new stuff played.
You know, that's just really strange.
But anyway, we're getting there. We're getting there. This is what this show's all about. Our fabulous producer and all of our team.
That's why I flew down,
proud.
just to give you the support.
Very proud, and thank you very much for coming down. And we're going to hear Youth from Tram Tracks. I'll see you next week. Good night.
In the